Welcome back, Mongo Fix. The 04 Honda CRV got a new problem. The other day, Mongo was heading to work, and Mongo turned to start the engine, and it go vroom, vroom, click, 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 click. So that tell Mongo the battery was quite unhappy and low. This car got manual lights, and there's been a couple times where Mongo forget to shut the lights off at the end of the day, so this being a fairly new battery, Mongo's killed it a couple times. So every time you kill the battery, she's just getting worse and worse. The big problem being is this is kind of a tiny battery. It's kind of skinny, and they still want $200 for it. And Mongo say that that's the same as a standard size battery. This is a little one, so it shouldn't be the same price. There's less materials there. So Mongo not doing that. But when Mongo get looking at the size of the area here, Mongo wondering if Mongo can get a standard battery in here. Like maybe this battery. You know, this one used to be an old Honda car. Then it was in, I think it was in the Saturn Vue for a little bit. Come out of a truck Mongo bought and put it in one of the other trucks Mongo had for a little bit. So it's more standard size. Mongo got lots of these laying around. Get these from the yard super cheap. Mongo like dual terminals, as you know. Now we got to get this hold down out the way. Judging by that starting test, she dropped down to the 9-volt range, and that's where Mongo like to say, caution. The battery during start should really not drop below 10 volts. Mongo need a deeper deep well socket. Boy, that bolt not happy in general. Mongo gonna have to get that soaking in some lube juice, and we're gonna have to loosen that up, because they gotta run down way too far. But that makes sense why the car wouldn't start. In the morning, it was a bit colder, down to the 50s, and in the colder temperatures, the battery will drop to a much lower voltage. When it's warmer, like this morning, get about into the 70s, then the battery dropped down to the 9 volts. Still too low for Mongo. So this battery on its way out. So you have the option of, you know, wait till it's bitter cold and you got to replace the battery then. Or just preemptively get this battery ready to where it'll accept that big battery. That way we do all the modifications when it's still nice outside. You know, it kind of like preventative maintenance. Both of our batteries kind of lined up side by side. You know, that one just over 5-inch. That one with the dual terminals about 7. That one about 9 1/4 long. That one about 10 1/4 long. You know, they're a little bit shorter than the other one. That one about that one a little under 9-inch. That one about 8-inch. So they different for sure. This one 500 cold cranking amps, 615 cranking amps. Part number's a 51R. This one's 790 cold cranking amps. It's a 78 DT dual terminal. So quite a bit different. This one a lot easier to find at the salvage yard too, because the price of salvage yard batteries much lower than new. This one you can still find lots of places, but harder to find. And for some reason, you look at the size difference there. That one's about the exact same price as that one. Brand new anyways. Inside the car here, we got a bigger tray. I suppose there's probably a couple little pieces of plastic that snap into those two holes. But then we got this tray. Mongo pretty sure that bigger battery will fit in there without much of a problem. In fact, that's pretty close. Oh boy, that just about fit inside that little tray. Boy, Mongo might not have to modify much of anything. Just trim this down a little bit so it doesn't wreck the plastic. And yeah, that might be perfect. Just cutting these little indents down really. That one. Cut down that one. Do the same here. Now let's set that guy in there. So that all fits just like it should. Now we'll take our big battery. Let's see how it sits in there. Got a little bit of interference there. Boy, especially if it slides that way, just that little bit. Yes, Mongo, take this thing off. There we go. Everybody happy now. Looking down inside there, we in the tray. Get real close to this little body seam right there. Mongo's got one of these side terminal covers. Slide that in just because we don't want that to shift and touch the body. Otherwise, we'll end up with a short right there. But that's pretty good spot, and there is this wiggle room. So it does wiggle a little bit in there, but that's what the hold down will take care of. Now this is the negative side terminal. We're okay with that. Doesn't seem to be hitting the light. No, yeah, there's just enough space in there to clear the light. By the time we get that strapped down and secured, it won't wiggle too much. We can still get to the air filter. Mongo impressed it's still inside that little tray. Right there's the little hold down tab. So that should still fit no problem. This is our hold down, and you can see it's loose on this battery in general, so it's not like it was a super tight hold down, but this secured one end, and this little tab that sticks out the bottom secured the other. Because our battery is much wider, we're just going to bend that tab flat, and it's not going to make a difference, because as you can see, it's quite loose there anyway. We're just going to bend this flat. Not good enough for Mongo. You know, so just using pliers as a hammer. Mongo got this J-hook in the vise here, and this nut will not come off. She's twisting pretty good. Mongo don't want to break it. So we're just going to take the heating torch. There was penetrating oil on there. Mongo's burning it off now. We just want to get that nut pretty hot. We can see if it'll loosen up. Oh, that's pretty cherry red. And nothing got broken, so that's excellent. After a little wiggling around and maneuvering, Mongo find out this is where the battery like to be best. And actually that little dual terminal positive thing slide just underneath that little body seam. But here's the downside. So we got our hold down. It's going to line up somewhere back there. And because of the size difference of the battery, she can't go any more forward because she'll hit that body seam there. Also, it will hit the headlight assembly right down there. And we're a little bit short. Well, Mongo was looking in the pile for some pieces of metal to extend this. Mongo found this thing. It's got a 90-degree bend on each end. Fits there really good. Maybe Mongo can straighten it out and make it work. Find a drill bit that's a little bit bigger than that threaded area. Didn't need much to slide that through there. Need the other side as well for that bolt. Now this piece will slide into that little notch cutout area just perfect. Well, let's see. Maybe Mongo can put a little something in there. Bend her down. Do like a little Z thing. And Mongo do like Mongo do before reassembly. Everybody needs a little bit of anti-sleaze. No sleaziness. Really, people underestimate the importance of lube. It's kind of a big deal. And we'll do the same on here. The difficulty being, you might end up wearing the anti-sleaze. So just be careful. You've been warned. No, it's not the greatest. But the battery's not going to fly out of there. Well, now we can attach our negative cable and our positive cable. Yep, that won't quite... Oh, no, it does fit on there. Excellent. That's going to be a problem. She's a bit loose there. No, that's an easy one to fix. Loosen her up a bit. Grab our pliers here, channel locks. We're going to squeeze that inside, separate it a little bit, and then we put it over there, and it's nice and tight. There we go. Now that's tight. Tighten up our negative. All right, now we got 700 cold cranking amps in the Honda CRV. Well, there you go. There is enough room inside the Honda CRV engine bay for a great big standard size battery. Well, hopefully this video helped you. If you wanted to get a regular size battery in your 04 body style Honda CRV, not too bad. Just a little bit of modification, a hold down, and she'll squeeze in there just fine and dandy. Mongo saved himself over 200 bucks by doing this. You know, because Mongo had one of these laying around. Well, if you like this video, be sure to like this video. Yeah, if you like this video and other videos from Mongo Fix, be sure to subscribe. Mongo always working on all sorts of stuff. Mongo, thank you.